Class, we have started chapter number 1, and in this video we are going to define some basic terms. The first one is unit vector. So as it is cleared by the name that unit means 1, so unit vector is a vector with magnitude 1, as we have discussed about the null vector, that it is a vector with magnitude 0. So unit vector is a vector with magnitude 1. So any vector with magnitude 1 is named as a unit vector, and obviously it is going to have some specific direction. We know that we can represent any vector in this form. A vector is equal to the magnitude of a and the unit vector. And normally we represent the unit vector with a cap over it, or a small letter with a arrowhead over it. So but basic way to represent is a cap or this one. So it's your choice that what you want to use, but a cap normally represents the unit vector. So here you can see that if I say that a is any vector and its magnitude is a, then I can multiply it with a unit vector in order to make the vector complete, so that the unit vector is defining its direction and the magnitude is defining its length. So when I going to define the unit vector, as we know that the unit vector is a vector with magnitude 1, and how we can prove it, that in this case I'm just going to divide this a on the both sides, so that I get a vector over a is equal to the a unit vector. So you can see that in order to make a unit vector, we are just going to divide a vector with its magnitude, so that we may construct a unit vector in the corresponding direction. So this is how we can find out a unit vector along any given vector. So we are just going to divide that vector with its magnitude, and we will get the unit vector in the particular direction. The next definition is about the rectangular unit vectors. The rectangular unit vectors are the unit vectors that are lying along the rectangular coordinate system, that is x, y and z axis. So the unit vector corresponding to x axis is represented with I cap, the unit vector corresponding to y axis is represented with j cap, and the unit vector corresponding to z axis is represented with k cap. So these are the rectangular unit vectors, and these are named as rectangular unit vectors just because these are lying on the rectangular coordinate system. So for I is representing the x-axis, for j we have y-axis, and k is representing the z-axis. The rectangular unit vectors always construct a right-handed rectangular coordinate system. What is meant by the right-handed rectangular coordinate system, which is also named as the right hand rule, that when I am going to rotate my fingers in clockwise direction, the direction of thumb will represent the corresponding resultant vector, or the direction of the corresponding vector. Similarly, it is also named as the right-handed screw system. What is meant by the right-handed screw or the right-handed rectangular coordinate system, that if I rotate my screw from x-axis to y-axis as the direction of the finger, so if I am going to rotate my screw from x-axis to y-axis, it will move in the direction of z-axis. So that's why this system is going to make a right-handed rectangular coordinate system. It is not necessary that always I, j, k construct a rectangular coordinate system. Any vectors a, b and c that are going to define this direction, or that are going to satisfy this right-handed system, are going to say that these are constructing a right-handed system or dextral system. What, for example, for any vectors a, b and c that are not coplanar means that are not lying in the same plane, or the vectors that are not parallel to the same line. So for the three vectors a, b and c, if we are constructing the three vectors a and b in a way that if I rotate my screw from a to b, the direction it will move in the direction of c, then we will say that a, b and c are making a right-handed system over here. Dextral system, why this is named as dextral system, because dexter is basically a Latin word which meaning is right. That's why it is also named as a dextral system. Next, we have components of a vector. Let A be a three-dimensional vector. Three-dimensional vector means it is going to have three components now, with initial point at the origin of the rectangular coordinate system. Let's suppose here A is the point, and A1, A2 and A3 are the components of the vector. Components are also named as the coordinate of the point corresponding to the terminal point of the vector A. The vector A1 I cap, A2 j cap and A3 k cap. Similarly, you can see that we are just multiplying the magnitude of the x component component with a unit vector along x-axis to in order to get a vector which is about x-axis, or call the rectangular component vectors or the component vectors for the corresponding vector. Otherwise, if we are just talking about a1, a2 and a3, these are named as the components or the coordinates of the terminal point of the vector a, and if we are multiplying it with the unit vector along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, it means you're talking about the component vectors, not the simple components, because when I multiply it with I cap, it is going to be a vector now. Here you can see the vector A is simply the addition of these three component vectors. That is, we know that for addition of vectors we have to follow the head to tail rule. That is, we have to start the tail, or we have to put the tail of the second vector where at the head of the first vector. So if we start my vector A with the a1 I cap, so this is my first component vector, so here it is ending, and now I have to place my second component, that is a2 j cap, at this point. So here is my second vector, and now I am going to add the third vector, which is a3 k cap. So here is my third vector, a3 k cap. So this is the corresponding point. I'm just going to add these 2 points. The vector A is not in the yz plane, it is in space. So we can see that the vector A is simply addition of the 3 component vectors. So here we can say that the vector A is equal to the simple sum of the 3 component vectors. Now here we are going to discuss that how we can find out the magnitude of the vector, as we have discussed a lot about the magnitude of the vector. So now we are going to discuss that once we are able to find out, or once we are known the components of a vector or the component vectors of a particular vector, then how we can find out the magnitude of that corresponding vector. So here I am going to find out the magnitude. So here we have discussed that the vector A is simply addition of the 3 vectors. So here is my first component vector a1 I cap, here is my second component vector a2 j cap, and here is the third a3 k cap, and here is my corresponding vector, the addition of the 3 vectors, which is in space, not in plane. So here if I'm going to construct a projection over here, so you can see that I'm having 2 triangles now. The first triangle is here, and this one is my second triangle. So I'm going to deal these two with these two right-handed triangles, or the right triangles, in order to find out the magnitude of the vector A. So if I am going to firstly determine this triangle with OPQ, so you can see that I can apply the Pythagoras theorem over here, that hypotenuse square is equal to perpendicular square plus base square. So this vector is directly perpendicular to this vector, or this length is directly perpendicular to this length, because we know that z-axis is always perpendicular to the xy plane. So this is the angle of 90 degrees. So here we are having the angle of 90 degrees. So this is my perpendicular, this is my base, and this is going to be the hypotenuse. So hypotenuse square, that is OP square, is equal to OQ square plus PQ square. So here I have considered the Pythagoras theorem over here. Now come to the second triangle, the triangle ORQ. Now in this triangle we know that x-axis and y-axis are at 90 degree or perpendicular to each other. It means this angle will be of 90 degree. So if this is my 90 degree angle, this is corresponding hypotenuse, this will be base, and this will be perpendicular. So in this case the Pythagoras theorem will provide OQ square will be equal to OR square plus RQ square. So now I'm simply going to put the value of this OQ square in the above equation, and now we are left with OP square is equal to OR square plus RQ square. We are placing the value over here, and then plus QP square, and now simply OP is basically A, so it's a square of A, or the square of the magnitude of A. Then OR is basically A1, so A1 square. RQ is A2, so A2 square, and then OQP or PQ is simply A3, so A3 square, and by taking the square root I get the magnitude. So this is how we can find out the magnitude of any vector. Simply put, A is equal to square root of the squares of the corresponding components. So this is how we can find out the magnitude of any vector. So for example, in question number 22, we are given with some vectors, and we have to find out the magnitude of the corresponding vectors. So here is my first vector, R3. So we have to find out the magnitude of this vector. Here is R3, and what is the formula? Simply we are going to solve it. Square root of the first term, that is the first component, which is -1, so -1 square, plus square of the second component, that is 2, so 2 square, plus square of the third component, that is 2 square. So 2 square plus 2 square plus minus 1 whole square is going to be 3. So this is how we can solve, or we can find out the magnitude of any vector. Then in second part we have to evaluate the magnitude of r1 plus r2 plus r3. So for r1 plus r2 plus r3, it means I have to add the vectors first, and then we will find out the magnitude of the resultant vector. So as far we have discussed that the addition of the two vectors is simply the way geometrically we have added the vectors, that we have to follow the head to tail rule and then we find out the resultant vector. But when we are given with the exact components, then how we can add the vectors mathematically? One way is that we construct the vectors, and then for example the first vector can be constructed in this way, that the first component is 3, so I will move 3 units on x-axis. Then the second component is -2, it means I will move towards left hand side on y-axis. So here is the second point, and then we have to move 1 unit upwards, so 1 unit upward, and this will be my vector. But in order to make a clear figure, rather than to geometrically draw the components or the vectors and then add all the vectors, it's simply to find out the mathematical terms, that how we can add the two vectors mathematically. So simply we are going to add the x components for x component of the resultant one, then y components for the y components of the resultant vector, and then the z component of all the vectors in order to make the z component of the resultant vector. So simply add the vectors, that is 3 plus 2 minus 1, it is going to be 4. Then for y component, -2 minus 4 and plus 2 is going to be -4. And for the z component, we are going to add the z component, that is 1 minus 3, 1 minus 3 plus 2. This is going to be the kth vector corresponding to the k unit vector or the z components, which is 0 in this case. So here I'm get the vector 4i minus 4j cap, and then we can find out the magnitude by the simple method, which is going to be square root of 32 in this case. Next we have the c part 2r1 minus 3r2 minus 5r3. In this case we are just going to multiply the components of first vector or r1 with 2, the components of r2 with 3, and the components of r3 with 5, and then we will solve the corresponding components in order to make the vector, and then we will find out the magnitude of the corresponding vector. Here we are having question number 23, in which we have discussed that r1, r2, r3 and r4 are the particularly defined vectors, and we have to find the scalars a, b and c so that these are satisfying this equation. So simply we are going to simplify the equation, putting the value of r4, then r1, r2 and r3, and then we can simplify the vectors, that is we can add the x component of all the vectors, then y component, then the z components. So here are x, y and z components of the resultant vector. Now we know that the two vectors will be equal if and only if they are having the same magnitude as well as the same direction, that is their corresponding components must be the same. That is, the first component must be equal to the first component of the right hand side vector or the left hand side vector. So this equation must be equal to 3, this must be equal to 2, and this must be equal to 5. Now we can solve these three equations simultaneously to get the value of a, which is -2, b is 1 and c is -3. So we have defined the vector a with components a1, a2 and a3, but in general if we want to define a position vector, then we can represent the vectors generally, that is or the components generally, that is in terms of x, y and z. So x, y and z are representing the x, y and z components of the corresponding vectors right now.